Hi, I'm Gil Kennedy, President and CEO of Harker Credit Union. Today I have the pleasure to have Paul Thompson from Architectural Design Works here in the town of Bel Air.
That's right. Thank you, Gil.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Well, Paul, I always like to lead these sessions off with the question or the opportunity for my guests to tell me a little bit about themselves.
Sure.
Tell me about yourself.
My wife and I live in Baldwin, Maryland, sort of southern portion of Fallston. We've been there for about 15 years. And I grew up in Towson and Perry Hall, ended up going down to University of Maryland to learn about planning and architecture, and then landed back in Bel Air, and now in Baldwin. So I have a son, 25 years old, and my wife and I are getting ready to celebrate our 15th anniversary.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Very good. Well, Paul, tell me a little bit about Architectural Design Works and the markets that you play in,
Sure.
and how you have taken the organization through the decades. So.
Okay. So I'll quickly go back to the beginning. I was a year and a half at a University of Maryland. I was in my internship going through the development program, and my mentor, who was like a father to me, had a massive heart attack and stroke and died. I immersed myself into the company. His widow took over financially, and a year later, this was the 89-90 saga of the recession was starting to take hold, and she came to me and said, "I can't do this anymore. Are you interested in buying the assets?" So I asked my father to help me evaluate it. He was the CFO of Franklin Square at the time, and then became a partner in MedStar, which we wanted to become, Helix, which we want to become MedStar Health. So he basically said, "Look, we're going into a recession. Don't do this. I just don't think it's a good time." And I said, "Well, these opportunities come along once in a lifetime," and we celebrated our 10th anniversary shortly thereafter. It went pretty quickly. We were on Main Street for a number of years, and then moved our headquarters over to Towson because we were having challenges getting young talent to Bel Air's Main Street. They really want to be in the big city, so to speak, and Towson was sort of a compromise, but allowed us to get good talent in early. So we're in our 29th year, looking forward to celebrating 30. Got through the Great Recession somehow, and now through COVID, we're blossoming. We're really blooming, I think, as kind of the go-to architectural firm in Harford County, which is exciting.
You know, I know you do a lot of work in Harford County. Tell me a little bit about some of the projects that my members would recognize that you have worked on.
So, I think one of my favorite projects over the years was the Slaby Federal Corporate Headquarters at 543 and 22. It was in an RO zone. We were able to get 28,000 square feet in a residential office zone for them, not only to give them their branch, but perhaps to disconnect in the future the branch from the office building that housed their financial services and so forth. It gave them an exit strategy, perhaps. It's now an insurance company, local insurance company, and we were able to add a couple additions to it recently, and it's always fun to be invited back to do projects. But 510 Johnny's was another project.
I saw that on your website, yeah.
That we're proud of. It was a big project at the time, almost $5 million worth of construction.
That was the crackpot, correct?
It was the crackpot originally, and it broke my heart when the market started to tighten up, and they ended up losing the project and a lot of the assets. But on that small postage stamp pad site, we were able to afford them 16,000 square feet. The owner developer at the time was really angry with me that I was able to extract that much square footage to help them meet their programming needs. Across the street, Atwood Professional Center, we had a client buy that property for $1 million when I showed them that they could get 55,000 square feet of Class A medical, a block from Upper Chesapeake. They built a $5 million building, and it was appraised at 11 and fully leased by the time we were finished. So, that's what I like to do, is really get in and try to extract return on investment for our clients through creative design.
Well, you certainly can tell that with the projects you not only told us about, but some of the other projects that I have seen.
Thank you.
Paul, I was really excited that you agreed to have a conversation with us, because, when I look at this period that we're in, this COVID period, I want to have my members and the business owners that watch this, have them understand and gain an understanding of how has COVID impacted the real estate business. And since you're in the forefront of real estate development, i.e. as an architect, talk to us a little bit about how COVID, in your mind, has impacted that, or if it's impacted that at all.
I've actually been excited that most of my client base has been bullish during COVID. They've taken projects on during COVID. They've pivoted and created large outdoor dining venues with all the comforts. If it rains, trellis areas closed where they can pump heating and air conditioning into the areas. They realize people are still a little timid to go back into bricks and mortar restaurants or breweries, that sort of thing. We're seeing a lot of new breweries start up. We have a client right now that's concerned. They have a 4-story parking garage with their offices above it, and each entry from that parking level creates a breach in not only their COVID protocol, but also their security. So we're actually going back and adding stair towers to all 4 levels with covered walkways back to their front entrance, so everybody has to go through the same protocol. So I'm seeing a lot of creativity and folks that are trying to get ahead of their competition in the marketplace.
With outdoor seating being prevalent, obviously, with various stages we had to go through in Maryland, that whole model has been created. Is that something we're going to begin seeing, or other business owners are going to be able to leverage?
I sure hope so. As a planner, I never thought we needed all this parking in the world to begin with. People have found a way to spill over onto side streets, and our county executive allowed our business owners to use their parking lots for tented outdoor eating areas, dining areas, or breweries could use it for outdoor fun areas, and it's been wildly successful. And it really hasn't caused that much tension between those businesses and the local communities that surround them. And I think we can learn from this. I really think that our planning directors could really roll up their sleeves and perhaps reduce the on-site parking requirements. I think we're seeing it firsthand.
Right. Well, with the weather beginning to change, if you're a business owner, how can you structurally and via your physical plan accommodate people still sitting outside in the cold weather? So
there's the one thing I really preach is geothermal heating. If there's the financial ability to do it, we can do under slab heating, and it heats up to 8 feet, highly efficient. The state still allows a 1/3 tax credit on the first 3 years of your property taxes to help pay for it, and it's green and sustainable. Mm-hmm. We're extracting 55 degrees and usually heating up from there, not having to take in 10-degree air and heat that up to, say, 70 degrees. So I see those kinds of things, plastic sides to tents, indoor-outdoor rooms, all of those are going to become the norm moving forward. Our 300-seat restaurants are going to be a thing of the past, unfortunately. Wow. I think they're going to contract to somewhere around 100 seats. Humagalas is a great example of that here locally. We helped them contract back to the second floor mezzanine that they have, back to about 100 seats from 300 because they knew it wasn't sustainable, and that was before COVID hit. So they really were looking ahead to the future, and now they've created a think tank, WeWork kind of environment for folks to be able to get out of their home, focus, and synergize with other professionals in a safe, environment. So I'll see all those things moving forward together.
I certainly hear the excitement in your voice, which is, I think, give my viewers and the business community hope. And out of this whole period, and I've seen it myself, how our ingenuity as a community, our ingenuity as a country really has stepped up, and people have begun to really think differently. Thinking about their model, thinking about the way they provide services and the experience to their customers, and
no question.
And how do you continue to go forward from this period?
Yeah, so here's another example. Locally, we all love Box Hill Pizzeria. They're kind of an icon in this area. They sell a lot of crab cakes over the internet, right? So they said, well, we don't have enough room anymore to really do that as efficiently as we should. And they took the space next door from Ward Development, and we're helping them now with their corporate offices and shipping and receiving area. So they're trying to step up their internet sales. Wow. And you're going to see that across the board with retailers and other businesses here locally.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I know you are involved in a project called the Turntable Fund.
Yes.
So I wanted to give you the opportunity, because I believe it's very important for the community to fully understand what it's about and why it came to fruition. Okay. So I'll let you describe.
So actually it came to fruition kind of during this COVID period. my wife and I love music. She's actually in a classic rock band and blues. And we wanted to try to figure out how to help musicians through these kinds of times that maybe just live gig to gig. Tracy, one of the board members, the president, came to a number of us and said, hey, would you be interested in being on the board? I said, absolutely, let's go. Let's see what we can do to help that part of the community. So it's not only working musicians that maybe don't have a day job and are trying to live gig to gig, but also then the younger generation that maybe can't afford instruments, can't afford lessons. We want to help that next generation up as well. So our first fundraiser is actually October 18th out of Hopkins Farm Brewery up off of 155. And we've got a number of corporate sponsors already, and we're pushing to get more. But what we'll plan to do is whatever our expenses are for that event and what we raise, either through donations or online tip jar, it'll be streaming online through the State Theater and Havre de Grace. Whatever we raise, we're going to take half of that and give it back to the musicians that helped us that day. Mm-hmm. And we're already booked for the event with the musical talent. And we've got some really cool bands that are going to be playing. We're excited about it. And then we'll take the other half and we'll use that as seed capital to help musicians moving forward. Mm-hmm. So once a year, we're also going to do a streaming auction. We're asking folks to donate to our 501c3. We'll value it through perhaps someone like Musicland, with the turntables, instruments, speakers, anything related to music. And then we'll store that for the year. And once a year, we'll roll out a streaming auction, raise money for our musicians for the rest of the year. So,
well, that community certainly has been significantly impacted by this whole pandemic.
No question.
Obviously, playing outside is a means really to get the gift out to the community. So I applaud you for putting together this fund. And Hopkins Brewing up off of 155 is a great venue for that.
No question. Yeah, we're excited about it. It allows us to socially distance, but still enjoy music that fills our soul.
Well, if people, if my members in the community at large who see this video, how would they, if they wanted to support that, how would they get to know more about it?
So between now and October 18th, they can go to our website or our Facebook page, the Turntable Fund Incorporated, and make a donation through PayPal. Or the day of the event, we're going to have folks out with buckets and tithing, baskets, and we're going to kind of guilt people into trying to help support. So sponsorships are still available. We're looking for our head sponsor at the moment, but we've had a lot of folks step up and really support it already, so it's pretty exciting.
That's great. That's great. Well, I know, we wanted to support it, and I personally feel like it's a well thought out and worthwhile effort. So I would encourage everyone to take a look at that website.
Thank you very much.
Paul, in this conversation, I'm hopeful for the future, and then I think we all need to think about not just today, but where are we going? And it's through conversations with people like you that we can drive that hope and a better understanding of where we are at the present time and what the future looks like. So I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and talk to us today.
Thank you.
I always like to close these podcasts allowing my guests to offer some thoughts or perspective. So how about a thought or perspective relating to either the period that we're in or whatever?
So I think I'd jump on taking advantage of the market conditions right now. I mean, money is inexpensive, and this is the time to either build yourself your office building or invest in real estate perhaps. We do a lot of evaluation of properties that perhaps were targeted for one use at one point. The market's changed, and now it really should be something else. During the Great Recession, a lot of projects were targeted towards office projects, and we kind of morphed those into more multifamily housing projects that perhaps had a first floor cafe. Those became pretty popular during that time frame, and now things are moving again. They're kind of morphing. So I just say, get out there and leverage the inexpensive dollar out there and try to make it happen now.
Put your thinking cap on and figure out how you can do things differently.
Absolutely.
Because the world did change.
You bet.
So, I want to, Paul, I want to thank you for, taking time out of your busy schedule again and giving us your perspective on things. So
happy to.
I want to thank my members and the community at large. I would ask that you visit us on our Facebook page, Harco Credit Union, and view our series of videos that we put out there. And as you look at those, please share them with your family and friends. Thank you.
Thank you.